Ollie Murphy is one I want to talk about now, who obviously won the Vic Metro MVP in that national championships. And I thought it was his ability to be so dependable in that back line that if something didn't go right, maybe in the first half, he'd always turn it around and dominate his opponent. Where was that? Was that a mindset thing for him? And where did he build such confidence to go into the champs and really make an impact and sort of make a stand as that key defender prospect going into the later end of the year?
Yeah, it's a great story, Nate. Like from where we first started with Ollie, when I first came in, obviously I had to learn all the players from scratch, and there were 96 that were training with us in pre-season, so it took me a bit of time just to remember everyone's name, let alone get to know their story. But in Ollie's case, yeah, he really impressed me straight away with his running power, his composure, getting the ball off the deck and with ball in hand. So, you're a really good runner. He's 200 centimetres. He's a good kick. He's clean at ground level. What role are we going to play this young man in? And he played a bit of that sort of key forward ruck. I don't think he played a game on the wing potentially last year as well, giving his running power. There's clearly a need at AFL level for 200 centimetre key defenders. And we went to him and Lockie Voss, who's a very similar sort of athlete, and said, let's try training as a key defender and see how we go. And both of them really embraced it. They loved the challenge of it, and both developed really well through pre-season. And in Ollie's case, the thing that really stood out was when we put him into competitive drills, he just had this mindset that he didn't want to get beaten. And he's such a nice, quiet, calm character off the field that you didn't know whether you were going to see that necessarily on the field. And we really did. So when he got challenged in some games, particularly in the Allies game, when Jed Walter gets a couple on him early, and that ball was coming in pretty hot out of centre bounce. As I referenced before, the Allies midfield were pretty good and the ball was coming in fast. But the first one, Walter takes a great mark. He almost gets the hand in for the spoil. The next two, he's probably off him a little bit in general play. One, I think, from the goal line as well. After that, he really kept Jed certainly goalless and almost statless for the rest of the game, which is an incredible effort because Jed's such a fantastic talent in his own right. So I think that showed the resilience that Ollie's got, and he's able to absorb the lessons pretty quickly and what's happening on the field, and then adjust his positioning and adjust how he defends on the back of that.
Well, you sort of spoke the resilience, but that strategy side, has he built that over the year, and has that become now even more of a staple of his game? Because the resilience seems like it's always been there with his character and that strategy side. How have you built that to him to just maximise it come this stage of the year?
Yeah, I think we started pretty basic with it. I mean, I sort of encourage all the developing defenders to defend back shoulder first and get good at the core fundamental of defending from behind. Yep. And then you start adding in the layers around taking away front positioning and taking away leading lanes and adjusting your positioning relative to what's up the field, where the density is and where the dangerous space is. So, in Ollie's case, he was able to progress that pretty quickly and often, in all fairness, often off his own bat without too much tutelage from me. I think our backs coach, Cam Field, did a great job with him when we had Ollie available to us. But Ollie's quite intelligent. He's able to find those angles and work it out himself pretty quickly. And that's what gives me great confidence in him at the next level when he gets a full-time look at footy. He's just going to keep learning these lessons. And clearly, when he puts on probably another 10, 15 kilos as well, that's going to help when he does get into a wrestle against some of these bigger, powerful key forwards.